What's up there guys, it's Mac, hope you guys are well. Hope you guys have been enjoying the E3 news and all the announcements that have come out. I've done my PlayStation video, I've done my Xbox conference thoughts. This is the final one, this is Nintendo E3 2017 press conference. This one was done, and this is really my thoughts about it, and they've literally done a video rather than an actual live conference this time round, so there was no actual stage as such. But Nintendo's conference was still fun packed. It had a lot of announcements, a lot of new games, and they filled it up with a lot of content. So I was quite impressed with Nintendo's E3's press conference. They kept it to only 30 minutes, but the 30 minutes that they did use was a lot more concise, and it had a lot more really good announcements. There wasn't so much talking like they did, like the Nintendo Switch review that they did earlier this year, where it was just so much other stuff that they talked about, like the Joy-Cons and stuff like that, and they didn't really talk much about the actual specs of the hardware. And there was a lot of relevant talking that I saw. This time round, it was all relevant talking. They only kept it concise to the games and the releases that are happening this year mainly, so they didn't really do too much about the future stuff. It was mainly about 2017 releases, which is something I was really happy about. A lot of games that they announced were coming out this year, and they give a lot of dates as well. So anyway, let's get into it. What were the games that they announced? Obviously, we already knew prior to coming into this conference that Ubisoft had already announced the fact that they made that mashover crossover game, which was Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, which was a new element of an RPG, action RPG type of a game. I'm not personally that into RPGs. I hardly ever play it. The only RPGs I really played was like Pokemon Blue and some Pokemon games like that. I'm not really a big fan of RPGs, but this game looked really exciting. It's a very different play on the Mario Mushroom Kingdom. They've got guns and everything, and I was pleasantly surprised, and it looks really exciting, and it's also coming out only in a couple of months. So I think it's coming out in August or something like that. It's coming out really soon. I'm really happy to hear about that. And obviously the way they did the presentation by Ubisoft was quite interesting as well. They had Miyamoto come out, and it was a really good presentation in general. So it was cool. We already knew about that game going into it. So they showed a bit of clips about that as well. I think that's going to be a fantastic Mario IP mashup with the Rapids game, and I think it should be a very interesting play, especially on the go as well. It should be fun. What else did they have? Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Again, not really a big fan of RPGs, but it is there, and they announced it. They showed a Kirby game as well, which is very cool to see. I love it when Nintendo released their first IP games, and obviously these are big hitters. They had Kirby, they had Yoshi game, a Pokken Tournament DX as well, so they showed that as well. But obviously the Yoshis and Kirbys and the Marios, this is what we're looking for when it comes to Nintendo. And with the Wii U had a big drought of that, but the fact that they announced all of these and coming out soon, it's always cool to see. What else did they have? They also kept this quite under wraps as well. Two big announcements that I just thought was amazing, and they didn't even really talk too much about it, but they just sort of said it on the fly. So they went to the Pokemon area, and they were talking about the Pokken tournament, and then suddenly just on the slide he just sort of said, oh, by the way, you know that company Game Freak? Yeah, they're making an RPG Pokemon game for the Switch. Not 3DS, the Switch. I was like, mind blown. Can you believe that they finally are gonna make a full-on RPG Pokemon game? Like Pokemon Blue, Pokemon Sun and Moon. These are full-on games that they've only released on the 3D and the 3DS and the 2DS and the DSs and stuff like that, and the Game Boys and all their portable consoles, but they never brought it to the home console. So this will be the first time ever that they will actually bring a Pokemon game to a home console. Obviously it works as a portable console too, so because it's in the Switch, but obviously it'll take a couple of years for that. But they said it's in development and they're working on it, and that's all I needed to hear, because Game Freak are behind it. They are the original creators of Pokemon Blue and stuff like that. These are the full-on hardcore games that everyone loves. I absolutely love Pokemon Blue, Pokemon Red, and they're the games I grew up on. So I absolutely love that. Can't wait for them to bring that to the Switch, and the awesome Switch graphics is going to be sick. I could play it on the go, and when I'm at home, I could dock it and play it on the TV. It's going to look amazing. And obviously, the cool thing about it is that you can take it out with you, and you can actually trade and fight with, I presume, with other players in the world, because obviously it should be a Pokemon game where you can battle. So it's just a really cool concept, and I'm glad that they are actually finally bringing it onto the Switch. Another thing as well, by the way, they didn't announce anything for the 3DS, especially in this conference E3 video. It was done in the Treehouse event afterwards, but that was cool. I think that they are focusing more on the Switch, and that's a good thing. A lot of people were like, where's the 3DS stuff? I'm like, relax guys, there's been plenty of 3DS stuff, but it's a system that's been around for so many years, and it's coming to its end of its lifespan. They're going to probably push it for another year with a couple of games. Obviously, I think they talked about the Metroid Samus Returns coming to the 3DS and 2DS. That's a really cool remake of Metroid 2, Samus Returns. I think that's going to be an awesome game to play, but it's cool that they brought it out onto that one, and they didn't talk about it on this E3 conference where it's all about the Switch, because obviously if you want to have it on the Switch, it needs to be a full-on game, and I think this will be a really good thing to keep 3DS alive for another couple of years, maybe a year tops, but focus mainly on Switch games for the presentation that they did today, that they did in the E3 2017, and that's what they did, so that's really cool. And the other really big announcement was the fact that everyone was dying for this, by the way, but they didn't even have to show a trailer. All they did was just literally show the 4 and Metroid Prime. That was it. They said it was Metroid Prime 4 in development. That was it. And everyone lost their freaking minds. That's all they had to do. That is basically all. Everyone's dying for a Metroid game. Reggie Fils-Aimé keeps dropping hints about it, and this is what it was. He said something along the lines of, come talk to me next year about Metroid, and we'll see what the answer is going to be. And there you go. So they're probably going to have some sort of teasers ready for early next year, possibly even late this year. But it was sick that the fact that they announced it just with the number 4 and Metroid Prime. That was it. That's all you need to do. That's all you need to do, guys. And you guys pretty much stole the show for E3 at that time. What else was there? They talked about Rocket League. It's a really cool, very popular multiplayer game, multi-platform game that's available on the Switch now, but it's been available on the other consoles like PlayStation, Xbox, PC, and PlayStation are not doing crossplay with it, but Xbox and Nintendo and PCs are going to be doing a crossplay online cross-platform linkage, so everyone can play with those other online services. So that's going to be really cool to see. I'm glad that they're doing that, and I'm glad that they're helping third-party games get more market share, basically get more popular amongst the Nintendo Switch, because obviously everyone knows that Nintendo Switch needs to keep them third-party companies popular on there, and need to keep bringing them in. But I just thought, Rocket League, I've played it a bit. It's okay. It's not too exciting, but I'm glad that they got it on a portable console now. I probably will play a lot more. That with the online services, it's going to be even better. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely looking forward to it. They also had Zelda DLC. Obviously, I absolutely love that game. I completed it within the first couple of months, but to have DLC is going to revitalize that game. So I can't wait to get back into Zelda. So anyway, everyone drops the game after they complete it to a certain degree. I'm not going for the full 100% completion, but the fact that they've got new main missions to do again with the DLC, I'm absolutely looking forward to that, and I think it will breathe new life back into this game. So absolutely looking forward to that. They're going to bring new amiibos out for all the other sort of hero characters that were part of that game that sort of fought Ganondorf. So that's really cool to see. I absolutely love amiibos, and I think those will obviously add to the collection of the Zelda Breath of the Wild amiibo set. What else did they have? They showed a lot. They showed Fire Emblem Warriors as well, but one of the main big IPs that everyone knew about was obviously Super Mario Odyssey, and they showed a really long trailer about that, and they gave a lot more insight into the game's mechanics. This whole new concept of jumping, throwing your hat, and then jumping into the Goombas or the turtles or the bombs, and you basically become them, or you play a mini level inside them. All this stuff is getting revealed now, and they're not explaining it, but they're just showing it in obviously clip format. So it's all down to you to how to interpret. I don't know if they're going to talk a bit more deep into it, but that was just amazing to see. I think this looks like a really cool second version of Mario 64. I think Super Mario 64 was like the best Mario game in 3D ever, and I think them taking that to the next level would be Super Mario Odyssey, basically. I think Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 on the Wii were a bit of a departure from the whole 3D flat world, because it was a new concept. Absolutely loved the concept about the globes and the 3D aspect of it. It wasn't in the same benchmark as the flat open world space that Mario 64 had, and obviously Super Mario Sunshine. But it was in its own right a really cool game, and it used the two Switch controllers and Joy-Cons really well. But I think Super Mario Odyssey it seems like the logical next step for the Mario 3D franchise, and I think Super Mario 3D Land and 3D World was more of a linear type of a game that sort of carried on from the new Super Mario Brothers, and it was like a 3D version of that style of format of game. But this is like the next thing, and I've never been so excited for a Mario game ever since Mario 64 in quite the same way. But now this game is definitely going to bring that excitement back, and I think coming out I think they gave a date as well. It was October 2017, so they've given us a date as well for the release, so I'm looking really forward to that. And obviously the Christmas period is going to capture them. A lot of people are going to buy it. I know a lot of friends that are basically holding off buying the Switch, but come Christmas time they said that when Mario gets released, yeah, I'll probably buy it. And I think it's going to capture a lot of people during that holiday season, and they're going to sell a lot of units, which is exactly what I wanted Nintendo to do. I wanted them to become the big brand company that they once were, and get back up there again. So let's see if that all happens. But Mario is looking really, really cool. A really cool new concept that they've got going on. Anyway, so that's pretty much my thoughts about the Nintendo 2017 E3 conference. Let me know what your best parts were in the comment section below. Tell me what you're looking forward to most. I just thought it was really cool to see a lot of games coming out this year, coming in the presentation, some as soon as 2 months away. So I think it's going to be a really cool year for Nintendo, and I'm looking forward to getting more games for my Switch, because obviously I've done with playing with the existing ones, and I think there's a lot more new ones to jump into, things like ARMS and Splatoons. Can't wait to get those. So a lot of stuff to look forward to. But I think they came in strong. I thought they're going to focus too much on Super Mario Odyssey and ARMS that they've already done, and Splatoon probably, but they did a lot more surprising things like the Metroid Prime, a new Game Freak Pokemon RPG for the Switch. That's something like completely different from anything that they've ever done before for the first game, the first Pokemon mainline RPG to come on a home console. That's something that they've never done before. So a lot of cool, really cool hidden announcements that we never knew about. So anyway, that's my thoughts. Let me know what your thoughts were, and let me know if you liked that video. Hit that like button if you did. Subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps out a lot, and it really helps the channel grow. So thank you very much for that. And until next time, take care, guys. This is Mac. Peace out.